Don't worry about it. It was a bad one. It was a terrible high five. Okay, cool. So, okay, questions. I know Chris had a question in the front, so let's do a power clap. Ready? Chris, what's your question?
So my question was, on the D3 and D4, what's a timeline for someone to get there?
Okay, so what's the timeline for someone to go?
What should we expect?
Oh, did I mess up there?
Oh, right.
So what's the question? What's the timeline to go through there? I actually said to Chris, I was like, I don't know. I'm going to have to ask Megan and Dan. So I don't think there's no ways we can say there's a set timeline to go there. And then I had another question in the corner there. They were, sorry, what's your name? You are your name?
Huh?
What was your question you asked?
Sorry,
what's your name again?
Dion.
Dion. Everyone say hi, Dion.
Hi, Dion. Hello.
Dion. So what's your question?
I was wondering, can someone on your team be in the middle, be more than one?
Okay, so more than one. So you said to me, it feels like some of my team members are, in some ways, they're...
Someone's a team one.
That's me. By the way, it's me. So some people are here in some aspects and here, or here and here. So I'll address those both. So first of all, how long does it take for someone to go from there to there, if they ever get there, by the way? If they ever get there, by the way. I don't know, what do you think, Megan?
I think it just depends on the person and on the role. Like, they might be in some areas a D4, and in some areas they could be a D2, depends on what, it might be some specific area they need more training, or just something they're just a bit weaker in that you might have to put more of a focus on. But I think you can constantly flip between all of them, really.
Yeah, and it's in different parts of your job.
Yeah.
So, for example, in your job might be, there's lots of operations aspects to it, there's some customer service aspect to it, and there's Ryan aspects to it, Ryan Inc., we call it, looking after all my properties, mortgages, all those type of things, tenants, and there's also events. So someone, even that we're hiring now, some people are very competent, what they think they're competent in events. They've had lots of event experience. So they think they're there for that, but then operations, they may be weak or not that much experience. So I think it's a really healthy, conversation to be having around. Imagine every single person in your team is split between more than one of those. And I think that's a great question, Dion, because I actually think that's the part of management we miss, is we think they may be here, but there's aspects of the job that they're actually a disillusioned learner, but we think they're so competent here that we drop them, we don't support them in that little aspect of their job over here. You guys with me, yes? Yeah. So I think that's a great question. And then to your question, I mean, I have no idea, but like Kelly, how long have you been with us for now, Kelly? 2.5 months, right? Would you say the aspects that you're moving from enthused, do you think you've moved across, this line a bit in that take about 2.5 months to move, like you're here eager to improve, you realize, wow, there's some shit in the job that's quite hard, and it's I'm gonna drop the ball on, and I have dropped the ball on. That's normal, by the way. That's how people learn. People make mistakes to learn, right? So then that's what happens, is we start making mistakes to learn, but if we're not being supported or managed correctly here, there's the chance that they feel very down about themselves. You guys with me, yes? Yeah. Now, another thing, what's very interesting is, there was, I think, probably the busiest chiropractor in the UK. Did one-on-one coaching with me for a while, right? And basically the brief was this. Hey, his wife practiced in the practice with him. Wife was like, I'm out. I'm not fucking working with that psychopath anymore. To give you context, he made £250,000 a year just on Saturdays. Just Saturdays. Yeah, in the UK. His wife was like, I need you to close Saturdays. It was like, I make $250,000 just on Saturdays, right? But he had been about 2 years, and she was holding the fort, because for 2 years he hadn't been able to keep a team member for longer than 3 months. 2 years. And he was like, shit, I need help. I can do this chiropractic thing, but my wife is out, and I'm fucked. He's like, I better learn how to like be courteous and build a team and do all those things. I've also seen that some of the busiest chiropractors on the planet do struggle to keep a team because they have very high standards. But that's not an excuse anymore. It's the hiring process that you're lacking to surround people around you that you can hold to a high standard and they don't leave. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. Helen joined my team. Helen and Kelly actually came from hospitality, eh? Is that the right thing? Hospitality. And when we set our goals for the year, one of the most liberating things I've ever heard from any team member in the world was Helen say to me, Ryan, I feel like you're holding back. We can take it. She said, I come from a hospitality industry where chefs regularly threw pots at me. Like, you're a fucking puppy. Like, we know that when you give it to us and you tell us what we need to do in this business, we rock. You're good at it. Like, we are here to fulfill your thing. Like, you're right, but I feel like you're holding back to protect us. But she said this, I can see the words, I wrote it down. She said, we can handle it. We can handle it. Everyone say, we can handle it. We can handle it. It was the most liberating thing anyone's ever said to me. It was like, we can handle it. And we know you want to do it to grow the business. And the business grows, our job security is better. We probably get more pay. We help more people. It's a fun environment. Are you guys with me, yes? I'll say one other thing about my whole team. I'm trying to get emotional now. But here's an example of what I mean. When I set the right context about events, which I did with Helen, and other people came to join the team, Helen said in the last planning meeting for this event, Helen said, I just want to say something. She said, guys, I'm really, really sorry to do this. I am going to have to leave early on Saturday, and I feel awful about it. And I just want to as-is it and say, fuck, I'm sorry for dropping the team. And she was like, and we're like, okay, where are you going? She's like, I have to leave. I feel terrible about it. But you know where Helen's going? She's leaving here to cover the phones. In my business. I was like, Helen, you do not have to apologize for stepping up. Like, you understand, like, so someone can't make this afternoon shift, but our fulfillment to our telephone clients is 8 till 8, 7 days a week. Yes? The only time we close is for training. Christmas Day and on the Lord's birth. Right? You with me, yes? So she felt the need to, like, I know it's a hard gig to drop you guys here, but like Helen was going to do work for us, and she was apologizing for it. You guys with me, yes? So I was like, Helen, you don't apologize. First of all, you've got our back here in the business, and I'm sure all my members are going to be very appreciative. Can we please give them all a round of applause? So those are great questions. Now, the next thing is, how do we manage those people, and what's the conversation we're having? So if we are, now, these refer to the style of management. So we have D1, 2, 3, 4, next page, and this is the style of management that you have. A S1 style of management is for a D1 member, and it's directing. So what does that mean? The leader decides. So you don't get to delegate the decisions at this process yet. This is like leader decides. Hey, you're new to the job. This abdication, it's abdication to tell a new staff member, hey, you decide. No, you're the leader, you decide. Now, here's the challenge here. Those of you that have been out the business in certain aspects for too long, and you've got out of at least knowing what needs to happen, that's why you have fear when someone leaves, because you're like, I can't even remember what we do there. I can't remember how to do that cash up. I can't remember how to do that type of things. But I think that's also like a weakness in leadership when it comes to the team. Elizabeth, my first hire here, right? She came in the break, and she was like, we've grown since Elizabeth has left, who was a key part of my business, eh? Key. So we've grown since she's left. And she came, and she was like, hey, it feels like you guys don't need me. And I was like, that's exactly why she was a great team member, because she left us in a place where it felt like we didn't need her. You guys with me, yes? I was like, that's why she's awesome. And that's why I can't wait to have her back. You know, all the onboarding, all those type of things, she set that up. And I was like, that's why she's awesome. She's the one that went, guys, I'm leaving soon. No one knows how to do the Kajabi site. No one knows how to send those emails. I'm worried about it. She had no reason to be worried about it. You understand? She was like, I'm worried about it. And the feedback she needs to hear is, that's exactly why you're awesome, is that didn't fall apart when you left. You guys with me? So this is leader decides, high directive, low supportive. So when I first read the book, I was like, I struggled with this, the low supportive, but I get it now. It just refers to the fact is we're not there. We're there to meet regularly, to direct. We're not there to meet regularly to go, tell me what's going on, give me your feedback. We're there to meet regularly to direct. Here's what you do. Everyone say, here's what you do. Okay, next. When they are S2, which is the disillusioned learner, high directive still, this is where we think they're here. We go straight from here to here. No, they're here. And this is the biggest risk of losing them because they are down. Motivation's down. They feel like they can't do the job. It's not that they can't do the job. It's the normal learning curve. They've started to make a few mistakes. You may have told them off a little bit. And if you don't meet regularly, the void is filled by, oh shit, I'm going to be fired. Oh shit, I'm not good at this job. Oh shit, I don't think I'm cut out for this. So this is where I think we need the most work, right? Let's talk, but here's critical. The leader still decides. Let's talk, but the leader still decides. Let's talk, leader still decides. But at this phase, the D2, disillusioned learner, is involved in the decisions. We start involving them more in decisions. What do you think? Tell me your feelings. What do you think about that? What did you learn? What didn't you learn? So yesterday, where is Patrick, you and Neil and Elaine and Aline? You guys were in the room when we were doing our you guys were catching up a little bit in the room, and we continued. I don't know if you guys saw. We did a debrief. We did a circle after this. We all wanted to go home, trust me. We all did a debrief. What worked today, what didn't work, what could be better. There were things that could have been better. Yesterday, you might not even notice them, but we weren't happy about them. No one left, and we all had dinner last night together. Okay? We just had pizzas. Okay? We all had pizzas together, and it was important. We were speaking about the event and how we can get better and all those type of things. But that's a part of this. What do you think about it? And then Tom was like, I think we should do this better. And then Mike was like, I think we should do this better. And then Losh, we spoke about it, right? So that's this happening in real time. Always do a debrief. This is in our practices. This is a post goal or a sub goal. This is a post huddle. This is a huddle after a shift. And no, I didn't invent the word huddle. Those of you that know. So you understand. That's this process. Then they start moving to hey, they kind of got it. And low directive, high supportive behavior. And this is just let's talk, D3 decides. This is very much here and above where Dan and Megan are in their roles, where Helen is in her role, the telephone business, with the operations of that business. But when it comes to some strategy, Helen, how long have you been with us, Helen? 6 months. So there's still areas in Helen's journey with me where she's here, and it's more, let's say, about the industry, about the profession, about the nuances between practices. I mean, you must understand the nuances between, you guys can barely, get your head around even the nuances amongst associates in your one practice. Now we're getting the nuances across 30 practices. Who does a day one? Who does a day two? Who books both at once? Who takes payment? Who doesn't take payment? Who's massage? Who doesn't have massage? Who books a 30-minute appointment? Who books a 40-minute appointment? Who books a 60-minute appointment? Multiply that by 30 in our practice, right? So that's there's huge community. What is that? And why did they say that? And why they don't do it that way? And I'm like, that's why they did it this way, and that's why they don't do it this way, right? So there's still aspects of it there, right? But yeah, this is let's talk, but that person starts deciding. So Helen does most of the decisions. I'm just there to go, let's talk. How's it going? Let's go for coffee. And we've done that recently. We went to how did it go and what's going on, right? And then we move to, now Dan, it's interesting, what I love about teaching this is if you look at my team, I haven't told them to listen to this, by the way. And I'm loving that they're listening. Because I'm like, I only have to teach this once now. And then they get to be leaders with their people according to this. So they'll better communicate with each other because we're doing this work. That's the power of having a team member in the room. That's the power of having a team member in the room, is that you get to go and take this information on. So this area here, delegating, this is D4 decides. D4 decides. This is low directive and low supportive. This is like, hey, I know you've got it, but if you need me, I'm here. Hey, I know you've got it, but if you need me, I'm here. Right? Step away from it a little bit. And we'll talk about the language around this in a moment. So I'll go into that. Any questions about that?
Is there a difference between the S1 and the D1 and the S3 and D3? Is that the same thing?
No, so yeah, good question. So the Ds refer to the employee or team member. S's refer to the leader. So an S1 and a D1, S1 leadership style manages a D1 leadership, a D1 team member. Okay, let me go back. Okay, so D's refer to the team member. And S, who's that enthusiastic beginner, disillusioned learner, capable but cautious performer, self-reliant achiever. S's refer to the leadership style for a D1. S1, D1. S2, D2. If you're working with a D1, your leadership style needs to be directing, leader decides. If you're working with a D2, I'm going to put this together for you in a moment. You'll see my next slide. You need an S2 leadership style, but the D2 starts deciding. You guys with me, yes? Jason?
Yeah. So the question is, would this be a circle? Because as they then get promoted and then they start taking a leadership role or a more senior role, then they're going to be back into the directing box. So their now new growth is they're now taking on a new set of skills which they then need direction on. Because I recognise that for our leadership team, as they become leaders, they go from being a D4, very highly competent in that area, then there's a challenge and a frustration because they're an achiever and want to be in that box, but now they're back in that and it feels uncomfortable. And I recognise that some of that frustration is that's potentially a circle.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know, but that makes sense.
Okay.
I think it's all our lives. Every level has a new. Yeah, so you handle that, and then you go back into frustration, and then out of chaos comes order because you have to learn how to do it. That's how it grows, right? So yeah, it could be. So here's the communication style around it. This is a very cool slide. And I went through the book and I put this together for you guys. So this does not exist in any of the books. Okay, it's in the book, but I put it together in it because they separate the two things. Kelly, your question pointed to the fact. This is next page. Next page. So this is how you do it, right? So D1. If you have a D1 in the business, the leader sounds like this. Since you haven't done this before, would it be helpful? This is an agreement statement. This is getting an agreement statement. Since you haven't done this before, would it be helpful if we met frequently and I provided you with lots of direction, resources, and we reviewed your progress regularly? I would probably say, would it be okay? Or I would probably say, this is what we're going to do. Because the interview process is, hey, in the beginning, I'm going to give you a ton of information, a ton of feedback. Are you sure you're okay with taking lots of feedback? So I'm almost selling the fact that I can say this to them in the interview. Hey, in the beginning, you're going to feel like a chicken without a head. You're not going to know what's going on. It's going to feel like you're drinking water from a fire hose. And so to speed up your progress, I'm just going to give you unfiltered, lots of feedback. Is that okay? Are you sure you can handle that? Good, because that's how you're going to get good at your job faster, and that's how you're going to get better results. So I'm already wanting to pre-frame the fact that, are they going to be open? Are they going to be open? Are they going to be open here? Right? This is how the team member feels when they start a job and someone says that to them. They start to relax because that's exactly what I need. That's how they feel. They start to relax, that's exactly what I need. Someone's got me. Good. Now, there might be someone that's I just don't want to be micromanaged. Well, in my experience, it doesn't tend to work out that well. That's called complete abdication. It's like, hey, sink or yeah, that's okay. Some people it'll be okay once or twice. Sink or swim. And if they're very competent people, they can just about put it off. But I've made this mistake many times, right? So then if they sink or swim, they're going to make a lot of mistakes. They've got no one to use as a litmus test. And then we go to D2, fast. They feel disillusioned, down because they're not doing their job well, etc. And then this is where we lose them, I feel, between 3 and 6 months most of the time. Okay, if they're a disillusioned learner, right, this is how the leader speaks. Since you're still learning, and that can sometimes be frustrating, would it be helpful if I continue to give you some direction? But I would also I would love to start hearing more of your ideas and suggestions. Is that okay? It's interesting for me. It's like I love saying this to my team. Everyone repeat after me. Say, "That's a great idea." I love saying that. Like at this point, when they're starting to give, I'm like, "Oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that." And I could see the light bulb goals go off, and it's like, I feel good about it. I'm like, "Yeah, that's awesome. It's a great idea, right? That's a great idea. Let's do that." So since you're still learning, and I know that can be frustrated, I'm going to just jump in more calls with you, etc., and give you some direction, right? But I'd also love to start hearing your suggestions. Then, this is how they feel. I'm still learning and feel confused and overwhelmed and frustrated. I know this is a bit of a mouthful, but take the time to write down. I'm still learning and feel confused, overwhelmed, and frustrated. I would love to share my ideas with you because I've been thinking of better ways. But I still need direction from you directly. In the book, the phrase they use here is, "So I can hang on." In the book, they use the phrase, "so I can hang on." I just changed that to, "I feel like that will help me get through." But I think it was important I wanted to tell you about the book going, "So I can hang on." And you understanding that your D2s are hanging on. Because they think I hope it's going to get easier. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever felt like in practice, you're in a phase in practice where you just need to get through it and hang on? You're I haven't closed someone in a while, I haven't converted someone in a while, I just need to get through this phase, I need to hang in there. You're a disillusioned learner in that part of practice. You guys with me? Same thing, it's like, hang on, just get through it. Just get through it, right? Okay, that's how this is handled. So I want you to assume your D2s are contemplating leaving. It's like not so much, there's nothing you've done actually, it's how they feel about their role. I'm not doing a good job. I'm letting everyone down. They know the X is coming. They know the X is coming, right? Not really their fault. Most of the time we don't do this well anyway. Most of the time we don't do this section right anyway. It's our fault. And then they go here fast, and then we don't have any of the skills to take them out of this. I would say, as a skill set, this is one of the weakest things I've seen in business owners across the planet. You guys know the statistic? What's the average amount of employees in all the businesses on the planet? They did a stat. Average amount of employees that businesses have in America, it's an American stat. Yeah. So across millions of companies, the average amount of employees is 3. And that just shows how difficult it is. It's a difficult thing. To get to 6 employees, like if you had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 employees, the complexity to go from 3 employees to 4 goes up by 300% in the business. 99% business owners are not capable at that point in their career to manage the complexity of 3 to 4. That's why when someone says to me, "I want to open a second practice," I'm like, careful. Then you're going complexity on complexity. You guys with me? Yeah, so it's something to consider, right? It's not as easy as we made it look. It's fucking hard. I'm bald for a reason. Okay, number D3. Can you just click it for me? Click the next one for me. There you go. There you go. D3 is the leader sounds like this. They're capable but cautious. So we're going to say this. Since you know how to do this, I'm guessing you just need me as a sounding board or someone to brainstorm with rather than tell you how to do it, right? I learned the word brainstorm from a management book, and it's a very powerful word. Okay, so is sounding board. I'm guessing you just need me, hey, you know what you're doing. I'm guessing our conversations, we just meet regularly, but you're going to use me more as a sounding board or to brainstorm with me. Then let's come up with these solutions together. And I enjoy this phase probably the most, right? I enjoy this phase because I like getting involved. I like hearing the ideas. I like going, yeah, that's a great idea. No, that's not a good idea. I mean, whether it's myself and Dan talking about the services we can provide, we can do this, and then we can do this, and then, oh my goodness, this would be awesome, but to fulfill. So I normally want to do stuff, and the team will go, Ryan, are you fucking crazy? Because you know how hard that is to fulfill. Right? I'm like, no, but that'd be awesome. It'll help them grow their practice. And they go, yeah, easy for you to say, bro. That's like 100 practices, and we have to do this, and we have to do this, and we have to do this. And they're like, but if we could, can you imagine? No one else is going to do that. So even the telephone audit was like, should we do a telephone? And to be fair, no one pushed back on that. Alex was like, awesome idea. I'm on it that day. He's like, that's easy. I'll do it right now. So he's got a spreadsheet, how many minutes you guys responded, the whole works. Alex's skill set is probably a D3, D4 when it comes to putting things into a spreadsheet, doing an analysis, all those type of things. But when it comes to our product, being the services we provide, he's going to be a D1, D2. He's still learning. But I didn't have to touch with the telephone audit. It was a, hey, Alex. Alex is like, I got it. I know exactly what you want. That was it. He just had it. But there's loads of other areas where Alex is a D1, D2. He's been with me 3 weeks. 3 weeks, right? So even within that, I could recognize where he didn't need my help. I was just going to get in the way. So since you know how to do this, I'm guessing you just need me a sounding board or to brainstorm with, right? Now, this is where the team member starts to feel, I'm starting to enjoy problem solving together. I'm starting to realize that I'm more competent than I thought. I start feeling like might not need you that much, but feel comforted to have you around. It's like I think I got this. Like I don't actually need you, but you become more like a, what do we call like when kids have like their, you're a bit more of a comfort blanket. You guys with me? Yes. You're just okay. I got this. Actually, when you get involved, you fuck it up normally. So I like you to not be involved, but I like to have you around just as a comfort blanket, because every now and again, like. Your experience is invaluable. I've been running chiropractic practices now, in some capacity, my own practices, my own skin in the game for over 10 years, and I've been involved with chiropractic practices in the running of it, an associate, for now 13, 14 years. Like, I've got a lot of experience fast. You guys with me, yes? 10 practices. Like, there's most things in a coaching session, which is hard for me. When the customer starts telling me about the concern, my biggest challenge is not letting them finish the sentence because I know what they're going to say as they start saying it. I just hired a new person, and you're not going to believe it. They started, and I'm like, let me guess. They said this when you thought they were going to say this. I can see it because I've been through it, and I've been through so many coaching calls. That's why I never drop one-on-one. One-on-one keeps you sharp. One-on-one keeps you sharp as a coach, right? You learn from your customers so much, right? Okay, cool. One of the biggest mistakes consultants make is they pull themselves out of a one-on-one or the front end too fast. You know, they have a whole bunch of guest speakers up here, and they do like one session, and they don't actually do the facilitating. But I love the facilitating. So I want to stay involved. So, yeah, I'm starting to enjoy the problem. I want to brainstorm with you. I think I can add value. I just need you around. Are you guys all with me so far? Okay, next. Do you want to do it for me again? Is self-reliant achiever. I know you got this. This is what I'm saying to them. I know you got this, but I'm here when and if you need me. I'm a little bit of a psychopath. So I would add another sentence going, I need you to update me, please. Right? So I work with now some very competent people that, by the way, this is a great thing to have a go at them about, is they're really good at it and they don't need me, but I need it. I'm the needy one. So I have to tell them, how many times do I tell my team, how many times do I tell you I'm needy? So I'm fucking needy all the time. I'm needy. I need you to tell me.
Like you have to tell them.
John said, like you have to tell them. So they know that. They know that. So I need to know, hey, we're on it. Catering's coming. Members have got their texts and emails. And I was still Kelly will tell you, I text Kelly at 6:30 in the morning on day one and asked about something to happen. And she had delegated for someone to happen. And the lesson around it was never assume that it's going to get done. So it was a small thing. You guys were all supposed to get a text on day one in the morning going, just a reminder of everything. And you didn't get a text. Now, for me, that's a big deal. It's a big deal, right? It's a big deal, that. And what was even more important about that was Kelly's only been with me for 2.5 months. And without me telling her to do that, to our third-party agency, she did tell them to do the text. She did, right? Which I was like, the win was, you're fucking amazing for doing the text. But they dropped her. So the lesson was, once you tell them to do it, don't leave it there. Don't leave it there. Don't assume they're going to get it done. It's still our responsibility to make sure the text is done. You guys with me, yes? And I've got that's how we get better. Also openly share that. So I was upset that Kelly never got the win because she was a genius to think about it without me telling her. But then she got dropped. So the lesson was, follow that up next time. I'm not happy. It's not an excuse that we said to someone, send the text, and they didn't send the text. You guys with me, yes? That's not an excuse for any team member, by the way. I told so-and-so to do it, and he never did it. No blame, justification, or denial. Everyone say no blame, no justification, or denial. So my fault was I should have addressed that. I should have had a meeting the day before, and I didn't have a meeting the day before. So it's my fault. It's my fault, yes? It's my fault that I didn't have, I was like, there's still needed moving parts there. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal to me. So next is, this is how the team member feels, is I feel like the leader trusts my judgment, but it's up to me to initiate conversations like, I've got it handled, but I just want to keep you in the loop. So those of you that are D3s and D4s, you will make your leader so happy by just going, hey, just can I have 5 minutes of your time? I just need to fill you in. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. All right? So for example, my agency, so my account managers, Lashani and Mike and Tom, they may be definitely D4s in certain areas of their jobs, but they still have to do that with Dan. Or they may be D3s. The D3s, they've got it, but they still need Dan, but it's their responsibility to feed that back. So Eamon, who's been with me like 3 months? 3.5 months. So her job, she's definitely a D3, D4 when it comes to her capability. I'm going to talk about our newsletter in a moment. It's really awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I'm going to tell you some of the things we started to do to newsletters. And she's definitely there, but she definitely chases me up. She's like, hey, I need you. I need to have a meeting with you. And because of that, our products have got some of the changes we're making will be so good. Your next newsletter is going to be a different style that you get in the post. Your next done for you newsletter is also going to be different. I'll teach you about that in a moment. We drifted away from our initial teachings, and I'll go through that in a moment. So, anyway, do you guys learn something? 30 seconds at your table. What did you learn? Go. What's your big takeaway there?